Hello and welcome to another video from oorail. In this video we're going to walk you through the restoration we did on this Class 58. This is an old Hornby Class 58. It's Bassetlaw, I think is the name of it, and it's R.283. It was manufactured around 1988-1989, and its running number is 58034. And this particular model we got off of eBay. It was a kind of a lucky buy. Someone was selling it here in the States, and it was one of those auctions that was shipped to US only, so there weren't too many people bidding on it, and we picked it up for a few dollars. Now it was in pretty poor shape. The rail here on the side, the handrail, was pretty bent out of shape and broken, so we straightened that up, moved the little pieces back in and glued them back into place. But overall the model itself wasn't in too bad a shape. Now what it was doing was when you applied power to the motor would spin, but the train wouldn't move. And the reason for this is there's a little clip right here, and this clip had come undone. And so because this clip had come undone, this particular gear right here had come loose, and while it wasn't completely out, it was no longer making contact with the gear here. So what would happen is the motor up here would spin, it would turn this wheel, turn this gear, turn this gear, turn this gear, but this gear was not, the teeth of it weren't lined up with the other cog, so this wouldn't spin, this wouldn't spin, and the train simply wouldn't move. So to fix it was quite an easy fix. We pushed this gear back into place, made sure that each of the gears were all cleaned, and we lubricated all the gears, and when we put this little piece back in place. Now I can't tell from the service sheet that we got off hornbyguide.com whether or not there's supposed to be some kind of rivet or something here to hold this in. As you can see here on the other side, there is a rivet holding the side of the thing in, but I'm not sure if this piece is supposed to be held in or not. So we'll have to give it a run, and it doesn't look broken, so I'm going to guess that there probably isn't a rivet. If there was a rivet there, it would make it very difficult to service the motor. So I'm going with it. There shouldn't be a rivet there. So it runs pretty well. The motor itself is pretty straightforward. It's a standard kind of worm gear thing that we got going on here. So the magnets up here, you've got your two connectors, plug and power. This one's connected directly to a set of contacts on the other side. In fact, they use this, I'm sure you can see it in the video there, but there's a copper piece right here, and the wire clips onto it, and then there's a set of big long copper contact there that's screwed into the chassis and touching up against each of the wheels. The same mechanism as on the other side of the motor here. So you have both sides connected, and it's pretty straightforward. Power is applied to it, spins the motor. The magnets right here, and your armature is up here, and it spins and it drives this cog here and turns these independently, and it goes. So it's pretty straightforward. Now there's nothing wrong with this motor. It's actually in pretty good shape. It doesn't look like it's been run very much. So it's quite possible someone got this, it might have been dropped, or looking at the state of the body, it was probably dropped, and maybe this popped out and they didn't bother trying to fix it. But it runs real well now that it's been fixed. So the other thing that we should cover is actually how to remove it from the body. It's a little bit different from some of the other Hornby locomotives and diesels. There's no actual chassis frame to take this out of, so there's no body shell plus chassis frame. It's all integrated into a single piece here. So in order to get it out, it's actually quite simple. You can see here there's a plastic lip there, and there's a plastic lip on the other side. And this one's pretty firm, but if you look here, this one, just like this one, bends, so it's a little bit more triangular. It'd be easier if I move it out of the way. You can see it. And so basically what you do is you take your screwdriver, and these pieces are mounted up inside this particular lip right here. So all you have to do is just gently push with the screwdriver. So you put the screwdriver straight up and you push up against this, and these things flex a little bit. So you just push that up, and you don't have to push it very far, and it'll drop out. So you do it on one side, then you do it on the other, and the piece will remove. So I took this bogey out first, and then I took out the other bogey, and it was pretty straightforward. So you just push up against one side, let it come down, and then unhook the other side, and you're good to go. So reinstallation should be the reverse. So the first thing you want to do is the driving end of the train is always the one with the air ducts at the top end. So what we're going to do is connect these. Now the first thing we have to do is disconnect this wire, because you have to feed it in through the chassis here. So we're going to take this and feed it straight through the chassis like so, and it should, without too much trouble, come out the other side. Now we're going to have to pick this up and reinstall it. So first thing to do is get the plastic piece here inside there, and then make sure you have all the wiring in place. As you can see here, we have this now sticking out the other side of the chassis. There's a wire here that doesn't want to cooperate, so we're going to push that in there just a little bit. And then you should just take the screwdriver and you just push that gently, and it should pop into place like so. And as you can see, it's working pretty well. Now we're going to pull the wire through, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So the first thing we need to do is make sure we connect this up on the right side. So you connect this like so. Make sure it's in there firmly. And then likewise, you put the flat end, not the pointy end, in first, and then take the screwdriver. I'll turn this at an angle so you can see it, and basically just hold it down at this place there, wiggle it in, and it's good to go. So now we're going to flick this over, and hopefully it will run. Okay, well, let's give it a go. So as you can see there's seems to have a little bit of a problem making around the curves there. So I was thinking that the wiring is probably impeding the bogie from turning. So we're going to go take it apart and see if we can tweak that a little bit, and then get it rolling again. Okay, so what I did was I basically moved the diode a little bit above the motor itself, and then ran the wires up above the motor. So they're no longer at the back of the motor near the edge of the bogie, they're actually above the motor, and we'll see if that fixes the problem with it going around the curves. And so that's basically it. That seemed to fix the problem. As you can see here, we still have one of these to glue back in, but it's pretty straightforward. We'll take care of that. Now the next thing I'm going to do with this, I'm actually going to weather it. We have some weathering powders that we got, so I think we're going to go do some simple weathering, and so we'll show a video of that here in the near future. If you actually go on Flickr, you can actually find photos of this particular engine. There's usually some weathering around the roof vents here, on the sides here, and on the sides here. There's usually very little weathering around the cab, usually just some dirt. And if you look at some of the later photos, it actually has this sort of loss of paint. So if it hasn't been repainted in a while, you can actually see the grey coming through for the where the red paint's chipped away. So we're kind of lucky here where the model's actually worn naturally. It actually has worn just like the real thing. So it's pretty good there. Now it's got a couple of scrapes here and along the side, so we're gonna cover that out with some simple weathering. But it's looking pretty good. So we're gonna go and run this thing in and shoot another video. So before I wrap up the video here, I just wanted to show you the other Class 58 that we have. This is actually the older version. It's the 58007, and this particular model we got from the UK, and it is an R250, and it was manufactured around 1983 or so. Now there are a couple of other earlier models. In 1982 there's that 58001. I don't actually have that one, but the 58001 is also R250, I think, and it was manufactured on and off through the 80s. The last version from Hornby, at least, in this particular rail freight livery was 58048, and it was manufactured in 1994, and it's R262. So if you're looking for a slightly newer model, that might be the way to go. This version here, the 58007, it's about 6 years or so older than the R.283, which is the one beside it. But obviously this version of the model, we got this from the UK, and it was taken a lot better care of than the one we got here from the States. So you can see there's a few minor differences, a little bit more detail in the newer version, but all in all it's a pretty nice model. It's pretty much built the same, and once they start running, they run really well. So hope this video is helpful to you, and until next time.